This episode is sponsored by JDAQA Software Testing, your scalable solution for manual, automated, security, and performance testing. Check us out at jdaqa.com. And with that, let's get on with the show.
This is The First Customer, hosted by Jay Agner.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the First Customer Podcast. My name is Jay Agner. Today, I'm lucky enough to be joined by Tim Haak. He's the founder and vice president of innovation at Mile6, a development studio, I believe, located out in Amish country, Lancaster. Is that right, Tim?
Well, our office is in Philly. Yeah.
You're in Philly. You're in Lancaster.
Yep. I live in Lancaster. A couple of us are here in Central PA, but we're located downtown, Center City.
Would you rather have an app crash on launch or be stuck behind a buggy on a one-lane road? Sorry, I had to ask this stupid
Oh,
question.
man. Probably the buggy.
Probably the buggy.
I'm never in
Really
that
won't.
much hurry that I can't wait behind the buggy.
All right. Where did you grow up? And did that have an impact on you being an entrepreneur?
Oh, man. I grew up in Lebanon County, a small town called Annville. And my dad has a small car lot and garage. So he was a mechanic. So I was always kind of around entrepreneurship in whatever everyone's version of that looks a little different. So his was just hard work, flexibility, and freedom. And I kind of just got that from him.
Beautiful. And even around, is your LinkedIn correct? 29 years?
Yeah. Next year will be 30. In June, we'll be 30 years in business. And I'm
Crazy.
only 25. So
I was going to say, you look ridiculously young. I'm sure you hear
I
that
am
all the time.
25, but I certainly am not.
30 years. How do you stay in business for 30 years?
You basically just reinvent the business every 2 to 5 years.
Okay. And what was your last big reinvention?
Oh man, we've been working so our agency, we for the longest time, we've always had two sides. We've always done custom software development, mobile apps, web-based software, and website design and development. And those two sides of the company have been growing at different paces. We've been doing enterprise work on the software side for many years, for probably 15 years now. And on the website side, we were doing SMB work for a long time. So over the last 5 years, we've been working to elevate and through just process improvement, bringing in key roles to just elevate the website side as we keep moving up market to better align and essentially serve the same customers across all aspects of our business. Yeah.
How do you website design, project-based, typically shorter, runway when it comes to budget and things like that. How do you keep that growing compared to custom software development? And again, I don't know your contract size and that stuff, but just in generally speaking, custom software development, bigger projects, longer timelines, maintenance contracts, all that sort of stuff. How do you in 2025 keep the website stuff, the revenue high enough to make it a valuable income stream for you guys?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we are fully vertically integrated. So everything from strategy through design, development, and then growth. And the growth thing is an important part of that story. So our projects are typically 3 to 6 months for websites, but we look at the launch of the website not necessarily as the finish line, but almost the starting line. We consider that almost MVP or just the first iteration. So a lot of times during those projects, especially fixed scope projects, new ideas come up. Our clients are asking things. Their businesses are still evolving. So there may be things that are happening, outside pressures or new things that are happening within their organization that should be factored into the website, but we don't want to derail the project. So launch that first iteration and then be ready post launch or post MVP to do some iterative growth initiatives to help it continue to grow. We basically take all the research that we do during strategy and during discovery, formulate the plan and do the design and development around that. But really only once it's launched can we measure how successful it is and if our hypotheses were correct. And sometimes we have to make adjustments because of things that we can continue to do better and continue to improve for our clients. So they are typically longer term engagements than and trust me, the first 25 years of this company, we would just build things, launch them, and then move on to the next thing. Mm-hmm. And we've learned that's kind of doing our clients a disservice to think that this piece of production software, even if it's a website, can just exist on the public internet indefinitely, untouched. And we all know that's wrong. It's It was a long journey to get people to see that, and for us to really realize it too. And living through what we've lived through all these years, we know better now.
Are there company existing companies that you're building new, like, that don't have a website in 2025? Like, the ones that have been around? Yeah, there's not, right? Like, it's all retreads, reskins, or a brand new company, right? There's no.
Yeah, and a lot of organizations have multiple websites too.
Right.
Like the days of just this one thing. That each product line has their own. Different divisions have their own. There's internal products that they're promoting just for their own folks. Yeah.
Okay. Alright, well, take me back to the start. I mean, how did you get the company started? I mean, 30 years is a long time, but, like, what was the first, week like working there? Or as you start spun this thing up?
Yeah, it was for some reason as a kid, I was always fascinated by, and I think it's because, being around my dad and his business, I was always interested in the idea of business. Like I remember just making letterhead because my parents had a personal computer. It was like we had an Apple IIe, and I don't know why my mom as a nurse and my dad as a mechanic slash car person bought my older brother and I technology, but we would do all kinds of stuff on the home computer. So I'd make letterhead, make business cards, and just there was the software that came with it. So was kind of interested in that, but convinced my folks to get us on dial-up internet in like 94, maybe 95. And prior to that was doing like BBSs, like dialing into modem banks, and it was all text based where you could download shareware, and there weren't that many viruses then, I guess, or if there were, no one really knew. So yeah, convinced them to let us sign up for dial-up internet, and then wound up learning HTML just on my own through a pamphlet that I found or bought or got somewhere, and figured out FTP. And I was using Mosaic as my browser and then Netscape Navigator, and it was before Internet Explorer. But yeah, just kind of started as a kid, just haphazard. I wound up, I guess, hanging the sign on the virtual front door when I was 15 years old. I don't know what my parents were thinking, letting me do that. I don't know if maybe they didn't know, but at one point I didn't have my driver's license, and my mom would drive me to clients and drop me off up the road, and I would walk in because they didn't all know how young I was. So to think that this kid was building their website was probably an unusual thought to them. So the start was pretty haphazard, and yeah, I'm going to just start making websites now, and I guess I'll charge $50 or whatever.
Yes, I remember those days, and we talked about this before the show. I had a similar. I think I was 12 or 13, and it was Dreamweaver, and my mom had a business, and I would make websites for her company, and same thing, like, they didn't know, like, "Who's this kid?" And, like, why do we want a website? And then so it got me started in technology. When do you think well, like, when would you consider, like, a real business? Like, when did you get your feet under you and you're like, "Okay, I've learned a bunch of stuff, like, I'm gonna hire some people." Like, when did all that stuff start to happen?
Yeah, so like I officially started June of 96. The My first client was that project was done around that summer. I wound up leaving, and my story is kind of takes a number of twists and turns, and which we've talked about, but I wound up leaving college to get a job. And after that job, I was there from 99 to April of '05. I left there full time to do Mile 6 full time. So a little over 20 years ago was when I actually went from solopreneur kind of on the side to, all right, this is it full time. And then in '08, I hired my first coworker because the workload had just grown to be too much, and had to figure it all out all over again. And I think that's part of that reinvention I was telling you about. You go from writing code in Notepad and whatever else to front page to Dreamweaver. Everything kind of looks different every couple of years.
Front page, I forgot about that one.
Yes.
In 2008, what a great time to start a business. That's a
Right.
great everybody was it was a great time for everyone. So who would you consider, like, your first real customer? I mean, you could talk about the
Yeah.
15 when you're 15, you could talk about, in 2008, but who was your real, like, kind of, "Oh, this is somebody I need to, take care of."
Yeah, I remember. So it was in high school. So in 96, that first project that I did, it was for a small florist and balloon shop in my hometown. And it was their first website, like a lot of the websites back then. And I got a nice email. I keep it framed from this, first client, just telling me how impressed he was that a mere, and he put in quotes, high school kid could create a business like this and produce such a good website. And that thing is still in the Internet Archive. Every now and then, these things resurface. My team will send me these things like, "Hey, remember this?" But yeah, so I have the original dollar bill, or a dollar from the probably $100 he paid me, framed just as a reminder of how simple things used to be and how we got our start.
So, tell me a little bit about your personal branding side of things? You started young, you've done this for 30 years. You kind of live, I'm not going to say the middle of nowhere, but like you're out there, you're not in the heat of things in Philly. How have you integrated yourself with the Philadelphia kind of tech ecosystem and started to kind of like and owned your territory?
Sure. Yeah. So, and that was a strategic move for us. Like during COVID, we had an office building downtown here in a small town called Elizabethtown here in Lancaster County. And during COVID, closed that building and eventually never went back. We wound up hiring people in different states, different time zones. And when it was time to kind of reevaluate going back to office, we looked around and we're like, well, this doesn't make sense. We don't have enough people here in this area to use this office. And it was at that time that we had kept moving up market and we're aligning the different aspects of our business. So part of our strategy was let's open our door in Philadelphia. Let's get an office there. And let's invest in that community. We had a couple coworkers in the city at the time, and we still do to this day. One moved across the country to Seattle, but now we're really involved in the Center City Business Association, the Philadelphia Chamber of Commerce, and our company president Josh has a board seat in the CCBA. We're sponsoring things, so we've really been getting ingrained in the ecosphere there within Center City because we love it. Like I'm in town at least once a week. Josh is in town probably once or twice a week, and it's a good hub for us because it's not hard for other coworkers to go into the city and use the office or meet with clients or go to networking events. But yeah, love the culture, love the city. I'm a big Phillies fan too. I'm married into a Steelers family, so
Oh,
I know. I
oh,
future battles.
I was in Pittsburgh like 3 months ago,
Yeah.
and I just forgot how ridiculously hardcore their fans are. We somehow stumbled in like a gift shop, and it was like Steelers everything, and I
Yeah.
still have nightmares about it. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, whatever. They're Pennsylvania. They're not even, they're not in our division. They're not in our conference. It's fine. It's whatever. Um, if you had to pick one business group or any group for somebody starting out in Philadelphia, specifically in the tech space, who would you recommend, they connect with, or what group, you think is good for people to start with?
Man, I think it depends. Like for people who are into DIY and like the hacker community, I've been following Iffy Books for a while. They have a bunch of tech workshops where they're building mesh networks and running local web servers. I think that's the coolest thing. I've never made it to any of their workshops, but I'm on the Philly Tech Week list, and I see that stuff all the time. Like, man, I got to go check this out because I think it's super cool. Because it's that sense of community and people just figuring stuff out, which is kind of what, and that curiosity that still runs through me. That is why I started doing this so long ago. Just how does this work? Like, why
Hmm.
do people do this way? What is this thing I hear about? I think that's a cool thing for anyone that's interested in the tech space to check out is that whole scene.
I love that. You mentioned moving up market. That means different things for different people.
Sure.
What did it mean for you guys, and why? What necessitated, kind of shifting your ICP at that time?
Yeah, so on the website design development side of our agency, we had found that we were creating websites for people who really didn't need us to create the website for them. They were prime candidates for some DIY approach or like
Hmm.
a solopreneur or a freelancer who can make websites. We were creating custom design, custom development. We're not using visual builders, pre-built themes, like everything is tailored towards their brand. And we just found that it didn't make a difference to them. They needed a website and a better website. And we were probably too many steps removed from where they really needed to be. And we were sending a lot of people to Squarespace and Shopify, like, hey, you could do this yourself. You don't need to hire us. And we've even partnered with a company that helps people get their first website really quick and would just send people to them. So we found like we're pouring so much into these projects and our team of experts is doing such good work. But the website, again, is just sitting on the public internet rotting. Like it looks just like it did on launch day. They're not touching it. They've moved on to the next fire to put out. And we found that the website was just an item on their to-do list. They were like, yep, got my website, moving on. And we believe that the website is the central part of their entire digital ecosystem. All roads lead to it one way or the other. And to see them kind of just launched and then neglected, eventually harming businesses because it gets compromised or the information's outdated or who knows what. SSL certificate expires, there's dozens of things that can go wrong and it starts to hurt their business. So That was kind of the realization, along with the fact that we're doing enterprise custom software development, and we can do these products and services for the same people. We don't have to have
Hmm.
this disparity between the two.
Interesting. And how did you how did you shift kind of your lead generation, qualification, outreach, or, marketing to face this new persona?
Yeah, so one of the first things we did, we hired some new team members and changed our process. So years ago, we would just meet with someone in marketing or the business owner or the executive director, kick ideas around and create something that we all thought was cool. Like, this is great. This is a cool looking website. It looks like what their website probably should look like. But we felt like that was wrong. We need to create websites for the people, the humans that are going to use it, so that it meets their goals, why they're coming to the website in the first place, and align it back to the goals of the organization of our client partners. And that takes a special kind of strategist and a special kind of UX personnel to do that. So we brought in a director of user strategy, and he leads that entire effort and has really helped us revolutionize how we do things for our clients. So that has started help, just that fact alone has started to elevate us in our ICPs around us, because hiring him gave us, much more access to larger clients, I'd say. We already had the team to do the execution. We just needed the strategy piece really locked in first. Moving to Philadelphia helped too, because again, we're working with these really large brands already. It kind of just said, hey, we're in the city now, we're here a lot, and we're showing up, and we can do really good work. So there's really no reason that we can't or shouldn't be doing this. And because we've been in business for so long, we've have these clients that are already in the new ICP that are already doing business with us. So we're kind of just building off of that existing network that we have. And I'd say it's a little bit of everything that has helped us move in that direction.
Hmm. Every dev shop says they're different. If you didn't, then you'd probably be something wrong with you, because that's what you have to say as just a business owner in general. If Mile 6 had a bumper sticker to say why they're different, what would it be?
Oh man, it has to fit on a bumper sticker. It can't be
Has to
like,
be on about. I mean,
yeah,
it could be one of those annoying bumper stickers that has like a million words on it, but like,
yeah,
yeah, like it's like the whole stack of your car. Yeah, like what's the one
yeah.
liner?
Man, the one liner. So I think one of the things that differentiates us, I don't know if it'll be one line, so I apologize. It's going to be a big bumper sticker, but
It's okay. It's on my car. It's fine.
I think one of the things that differentiates us is like we've transitioned from a website and dev shop to a digital product agency. So the entire life cycle of the digital product is what we own. This is where we thrive. So we're essentially, for our client partners, we are their entire outsourced product agency. They don't have UX personnel, they don't have strategy, they don't have DevOps people, they don't have data people, they don't have full stack engineers or front end developers. They may have pieces or pockets of that, but they don't have enough personnel to do the entire life cycle of a digital product and to see it grow and thrive and have it iterate. So I think that's our thing, is we are that entire product team. And I think, as from a differentiation standpoint, because we've been around so long, we've built a ton of things, like
Hmm.
crazy things, Alexa skills, things in movie theaters, on screens, obviously mobile apps. We built a mobile app that talks to a essentially like a welding device that fuses pipeline together, that can send firmware updates over Bluetooth and Bluetooth LE. Like, I've got dozens of these examples that are just the most bizarre projects. So we have that deep bench and deep knowledge of building tons of things for different industries, that we can apply that to just about anything moving forward. And we've learned a lot. We've made a number of mistakes over the years. And because we're not new, we're not 5 years old or 10 years old, we're leaning on decades of both good and bad decisions to continue to head in the right direction.
I think you might need like a bus to
Yeah, it's a
put
big
that bumper sticker on, but I get it. The experience piece, I think, is what I would pull out of that, right? I mean,
probably.
there's not a lot of companies that have been around for 30 years, especially in a space that's evolved so much. And that does lead me to my next question. As an agency owner, it's a seesaw. You have too many clients, not enough people, too many clients. You have too big of a bench, you don't have a big enough bench. You have all, how do you guys manage that while kind of keeping the lights on and then actually turning a profit and like having a real revenue stream? I mean, how do you manage resources internally when the landscape is just constantly shifting on the client side?
Yeah, there is no one thing to do. And part of our, if I were to add to the bumper sticker, we're fully US based and everyone is a W-2 employee. So that adds to the, keeping the bench full, but
Mhm.
also not overworked factor. So our approach is because of the process we have of how we create these digital products, there are spikes in people's involvement. We're doing strategy at the very beginning. It's very front loaded. Then it kind of tapers off, and there are some spikes in the timeline. So we can space our projects accordingly so that there is really no big dip or spike. It's pretty level as coworkers switch from project to project. So we have a good blend of fixed scope projects and then also recurring retainer like engagements. So we can use that to kind of spread the work around, plan around vacations, and we have unlimited PTO. So people are thankfully using their vacation, which is why it exists and that policy exists. And it's not a perfect process, but nothing is. So we still hit some spikes where we have to maybe add another week to a project or as we're planning the timeline just to account for things. But we would rather do that than overwork our team. The other thing is using AI tools now is helping to make everyone more efficient and helping just quality of life for our team so that a lot of the mundane, more nuanced parts of their roles are being automated thanks to these new tools. We're able to do more with the same number of people, which helps. So we don't have to worry about artificially scaling our workforce just because of a big project and then having to somehow scale down or sustain
Mhm.
that project load. So yeah, I think there's the recipe's complex and it's constantly evolving, but there's a number of tools in the toolbox that are working.
Favorite old school tech sound? Dial-up modem, floppy disk grind, or AOL You've Got Mail?
Oh man, the dial-up modem
The
is
best, right? I mean, I feel like I could sleep to it at night. Oh, it's
yeah,
just such a great noise.
it is. It's almost like crickets, like when you're camping. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to be online.
Such a nostalgic feel, isn't it? Oh my
Never
god.
really used AOL. Like I kind of missed that whole
I
thing.
didn't either. My
Just
rich friends had that. Those are, like, the kids you were, like, annoyed with when you were a kid. You're like, "Oh, they have a" we would go to their house and, like, do instant messenger, but yes, I didn't have it
it
either.
wasn't the real internet either. It was like the AOL version of the internet. Like I needed
Yeah,
Netscape or
yeah.
Internet Explorer 1.0. I needed like the real internet.
We could talk about this stuff all day. First thing you'd patch if you could debug in real life.
First, first thing
First
I
thing you would patch if you
hmm.
could debug real life.
Oh man, I would say like the vibrations that happen when your brake rotors need like replaced, right? Like
I was not expecting that. That's a great answer.
you only notice it when you're barreling down a hill and you hit the brakes.
Right.
You're like, man, I should probably get that fixed. But
Or the
then when you're
squeak,
driving,
the loud squeak, the
yeah,
awful no yeah, that's a
I would
great
think
one. God, that's a great I've actually never asked that question before, and that's a
that's a
great
good.
answer to that question. Alright, a couple more. Why are you the vice president of innovation if you're this founder?
That's a great question. So I had about a year ago, a little over a year ago, like as our company was growing, this is I'm not sure which version of the story to tell you, so I'll give you a little bit of both. They're both true. It's just one's a little more transparent than the other. But so LinkedIn does a great job of showing people jobs for them, and it would recommend jobs for me, which is funny because I'm not looking for a job. And the jobs would be CEO, COO, president, and I would think like, why is it recommending those jobs for me? Like that job doesn't sound fun. And then one day I was like, well, you idiot, that's actually the job you have. You're the president of this company. And all the things that don't sound like fun are actually what you do every day. So I
Right.
kind of just had this realization like, yeah, I don't know that I'm meant to be in this seat in our company. And so, looking inward, my business partner, Josh, he's a partner in the business. He was our vice president at the time. I said to him, I said, hey, man, I think you should run this company and be president. And he was like, what are you talking about? This is your baby. Why would you do this? And I said, what are you doing today that you wouldn't keep doing as president? Because I kept giving him things to do. He had kept taking on more responsibility to the point where essentially he was basically the president, just without the title. And he was like, you're right. Shoot. So
Was
there
it
might
one of those is it one of those things though that it's hard for people to look at you as not the CEO and founder guy in that long?
Well, it's funny, like, some people think I retired. Like, we announced it to our clients and, our team knew. And when I talked to people like, "Hey, how's retirement?" I was like, "I'm not retired. I'm still working like 50 hours a week. I don't." if this is retirement, I've made a terrible mistake.
It does sound like you retired though. It sounds like you're like, "Oh, I'll just be like the VP of innovation. I'm just gonna like I'll just make the cool I'll just come up with cool ideas."
Yeah, no, it's so I do a lot of I'm essentially like the cheerleader for the company. So I'm going to networking things, talking to folks like you. And on the innovation side, I'm back to my roots, figuring things out, like the curiosity in me, especially with our AI fueled reality and future. I'm the member on the team that gets to figure that stuff out and then build a business case around it and then present it to my coworkers and say, hey, check out this thing. I've
Mm.
tried it. I've built this thing with it. I think we can use it for this project. So I get to do that stuff. I have an intern that helps when I don't have the time to really dive in and invest things. But it's I'm kind of going back to my roots, just less dial up, less notepad, and actually no note, no dial up, thankfully, but still get to tinker and figure things out and then equip the team to really build the solutions from there.
How do you guys integrate quality into everything you do? Because as you're doing stuff at scale, if you have multiple lanes of stuff, it's easy to like get in this mode of like you said earlier, like build it, put it out, be done, etc. How do you kind of bake in not just quality, but just like high user experience, high, fidelity designs, and how is everything kind of just crisp and the quality super high for you guys? How do you make sure it stays at the forefront?
Yeah, so we don't have I can remember when this company would have developers designing, which is just where we were and where the technology was at that point. The expectations were low and people needed to know what something would look like. So the developers would just do their own thing. That was like 15 years ago or maybe 20 years ago. But today we have experts in all of those things. So no one's doing something that's outside of their lane that they really shouldn't be doing. So that coupled with the process of like user research, user persona development, user journey mapping, wireframes, high fidelity prototypes, design systems, all of that just keeps building to something and injecting our clients for approvals at the right time so that they can get buy in. But by basing everything on the user and the needs of the user, our own biases aren't involved. So we're doing it for each of those user personas. And our clients are on board. They know why we're doing this is for Jane or this is for Bob. And this is why this CTA is here or why this form looks the way it is because they're coming to the application or the website to do this thing. So I think that produces, and I know that produces a much higher quality product. And then add in the software development lifecycle, the SDLC, with a good PR process and code reviews, product owners who know the product and who know the business requirements behind it, and then their own testing that they're doing. I mean, we're not perfect. There's still bugs, obviously, but our goal is that when by the time the client gets it or their customers get it, it is damn near perfect and ready to go.
It's a great answer, and as a quality assurance guy, I had to ask that question,
I
so I
knew.
couldn't
I,
let you. I
I don't know,
couldn't
Jake.
let you off.
Yeah.
I couldn't let you off the call without it. All right, I have one more question. This is not
Okay.
about business. It's not about Mile 6. It's not about any of that stuff. If you could do anything on Earth, and you knew you wouldn't fail, what would it be?
Oh man. There's a no, there's an I think I have undiagnosed ADHD. So I thought of like 10 things.
I think we all do to some degree, but yes,
We've talked about this.
yes.
Man, I would say I think I would open like an ice cream business, like making some crazy
Oh, I
crap
love that answer. God, I
ice.
love it so much.
I've
Mhm.
got like the little Cuisinart thing, like, and I make some pretty good
Do you
or
make it? Do you use it? At my so I had a guy on the podcast who started a ice cream company with his mom, and then they got into like owning the commercial stuff, and they do the whole thing of these crazy flavors, just kind of like you're describing. And I was gonna buy the Cuisinart thing after it. So, do you like it, and do you use it?
I do. Yeah, I don't use it. So it comes in spurts. Like
Hmm.
you have to remember to get the things at the grocery store. Like, all right, I need whole milk. I need this. So I don't always remember that. But yeah, if I've got the ingredients or I plan ahead enough, I'll do it. I did learn one time though, like I overdid the Oreos and also like the store brand Oreos are just as good as name brand Oreos when it comes to ice cream.
Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
put much for your
Sure.
cookies.
Yeah.
But I overdid it. I was like, hey, all the powder, the like the black Oreo dust, that just gonna add that to the ice cream. And it came out and it looked like asphalt. I was like, this
Mm.
is
Was it
not
good though? Did it
it was
taste good?
delicious, but it
Yeah, that's
was
all that matters.
way too
All that
sweet.
matters.
So
That's a
I
great
gotta fine
answer.
tune that one a little bit.
That's a great answer. Well, I'm happy to taste test. I want to do ice
I'll bring
cream in my house as well.
yeah.
Yeah. Damn it, now you're gonna make me go look again. I, like, had it in the cart, like, I was gonna buy it, I was ready to go, and I was like, "Ah, if I do I
Yes.
need another
Like
thing?"
cheaper appliance, yeah.
Yeah, or just, like, another thing, because like, I'm annoying, like, I'll, like, get into it like you, like, I'll get into it heavy up front, and
Yeah.
then I'll research a million of them. I'll do all the stuff, I'll buy it, and then, like, I'll do it a few times, and then it'll sit, and then I'll come back. So, do I need another one of those things? Probably not.
I think it's that curiosity, like, I have a dozen or more hobbies, like, I just like, "Yeah, I wanna try this thing." I'll try it and like, "Alright, cool, I did it," and then I'll move on to the next thing. It's ice cream, so
I love that.
I
My
might
dad,
just
I always we just we're gonna end after this, but I do have to tell this story. I always thought that was my dad. I thought he, like, gave up too soon on hobbies, right? Like, we had, like, a ham radio tower that was, like, in our backyard laid down for probably, like, 20 years, because like, he bought it and he did the hobby, he got the certification, did all this stuff, and then he never put it up. And then he bought golf clubs, and then he, like, went golf a few times, and then and it was always just this thing, and I was like, "Why does he never stick with these hobbies? It's so dumb that he does all this work." And then as I got older, I was like, "That's exactly the same way that I function." I'm like, "You have to try stuff, you have to buy the stuff, like, to try it, and then you end up with a bunch of shit laying around that's like, okay, like, I'll get rid of it or give it to somebody, but at least you're trying
Yep,
new stuff, and, like, you'll never know what you actually end up liking unless you try a bunch of different stuff." So I think that's great that you do that. So,
absolutely. If
good
you
for
ever
you.
wanna get into ice cream or kayaking or guitar playing or drone flying, all those random things that I
Yes.
still do
Yes.
or
Yeah.
used to do, like, let me know, and I'll rekindle my past hobbies and
Please. Same thing with astrophotography, learning to fly, all these different all same stuff. We're very similar where we try this.
swim with
We
sharks.
yeah, we swim with sharks. Yeah, well, I don't know how much that's gonna be a hobby because I like having my arms and legs, but it was a good time. All right, you were awesome. If you want to find out more about you specifically or something they heard today, how do they reach out to you directly? And then also how do they find Mile 6?
Yeah, LinkedIn, I'm on the LinkedIn, just Tim Haak, or our website, mile6.com. Either one, will be a good way to get a hold of me.
Beautiful. Well, you are delightful. It was a great interview. I think there was some good
Okay,
stuff in there. Let's do this again sometime, please. This was great. And I'm sure I'll see you around Philly sometime. So, other than that, have
absolutely.
a great weekend and go Phillies, go Birds. Go everybody, Philadelphia. Now, the Sixers and the Flyers, we've got some work to do. But other than that, have a great weekend, buddy. Thanks for being on,
Thanks,
Tim. I'll
man.
talk
You
to you.
too.
See you,
See
man.
ya.